Chamo Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Rama Nasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittale Sada Bhautame Bhorama Mamudhara Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattalyam Rama Nama Varanane Shri Rama Nama Varanana On Nama Iti. Okay, I think we are in the 53rd shloka over here. We are in the Uttarardham. So Gridhram cha nihatam drishtva ritva shrutva cha maithilim Raghava shoka santapto vidalapakulendriyaha. One more time. Gridhram cha nihatam drishtva ritam shrutva cha maithilim Raghava shoka santapto vidalapakulendriyaha. One more time. Gridhram cha nihatam drishtva Ratam Shutva cha Maithilim Raghava Shoka Santapto Vidalapakulendriyaha. So this is always read it loud, clear. My pronunciation is not the best, but still we should read it loud and clear. That's always, all of us can do that. That will really give you a lot of knowledge. I keep saying that, but it's true. Keep on reading as much as you can. Keep on reading good things, and the meaning will come to you slowly. Okay, let's see. Who wants to start? Ravi, you can start with this one. Ravi, you want to take it? Do the Padacheda for us.
Yes, Satish.
Go ahead.
Grudhram.
Correct.
Cha.
Correct.
Nihatam.
Correct.
Drishtva. Shrutam. Shrutva.
Correct.
Cha Maithilim.
Okay.
Raghavaha.
Correct.
Shoka Santaptaha. Vilalapa. Akulendriyaha.
Correct. Okay. Now let's start with so that's the first duty, is to do the Padacheda. Of course, sometimes you may have difficulty doing that, but keep your options open. Sometimes you may not know what a padam is. I said to you, one more thing that you can do, and there's no shame in doing that, is read the English translation first. It's okay. Read the English translation. In the beginning, read the English first, and then you know what to expect when doing the Padacheda. And of course, as you get more practice, you can then, go the other way and do the Sanskritam portion in English later. But in the beginning, if you're feeling a little unsure, read the entire shloka clearly, loudly. Read the English translation and see what all you can pick out from the shloka that you can connect. And then, of course, something may be unclear, we can work on that, Because otherwise, like for example, this one, Ravi did the Padacheda correctly. Vilalapa akulendriyaha. But you may not know these words, what they are, You can also, I hope you're using the online Aptya dictionary. Thanks to Kalpesh ji, now we have a lot of good toys to work with. So here we have the Aptya dictionary we can do online. So we say word akula. You can look at the word akula. So you can try different things, If you want to know whether a particular word is you got the right thing, you can look at the word akula. Akula. See what comes up. Akula, here it is. Akula, vyakula, akula. It's full of, burdened. So it says, overcome with, affected, afflicted, smitten, confounded, agitated. So it has some good meaning. So if you that's what the one that you want. So use the Aptya dictionary to see what choices you got the right choice. It is very useful. Akulendriyaha. Okay. So let us go back and let us see now. So now, Ravi, we got Gridhram. What's the vibhakti of Gridhram? That's the next step now. To try to do the vibhaktis. See what is the role of each term in the sentence. Because vibhaktis are special to this language. In English, you use prepositions. We here use vibhakti. So that's why it's but that allows us to mix up the words, still make sense out of them. Otherwise, you cannot compose these compositions, are not possible. So that's the whole object of the vibhaktis. But for the beginner, it's very, very confusing because you know the word what Gridhra means, but Gridhram you may not know what it means. That's the next step, is to try to see what role the sentence plays in the sentence, which you have to see the vibhakti and then take it from there. So Gridhram, what is vibhakti of Gridhram?
Should be Dvitiya Ekavachanam, Satish.
This is Ramo Shabda. In fact, also you can check. Let's check in Apteji what kind of word it is. Let's look at Apteji. Let's see what it gives. Let's see Gridhra. So Gridhra should be like Ramavat. we can type it here, and we can take Gridhra. Okay, Gridhra. To see. Adjective is actually it's both. It is Ramavat and Vanavat also. So it could have been Prathama, Dvitiya Ekvachanam, Ramavat. It could have also been Prathama or Dvitiya Ekvachanam, like Vanam. Okay, we don't know which one it is. But let's look at the verb over here, and the verb is that he Vilalapa. So Vilalapa, so we say, if you look at the word Vilapa, Vilapa is to lament. English is to lament. Lap is to chatter. To lap. So if you take dhatu lap, and let's look at that one first. Lap, lapati. So to speak, to talk, to practice, to chatter, just like to chat, to whisper, to wail. But it also means to wail or to lament. But generally, if you take vilapa or vilapa, if you take, that means to lament only. So even though lap means to chatter or to talk, vilap means to lament, to moan, to bewail, to cry, to weep. Vilalapa, another Vilalapa is here. So that's the one that we need, Vilalapa. So clearly it is, we have Raghavaha. See, one more thing, if you can look ahead in the sentence. First of all, even before that, why do we take this sentence starting from the second half of 53 to the first half of 54? When the easy answer is that you can look down here, look at the translation, and it clearly says that, I'm sorry, I think we need to keep this a little bit, okay. We can look at the translation, and it says here that now tormented with grief to perceive the vulture, and Sri Rama wailed, his mind agitated. So the full stop is coming from where to where. If you want to keep your life simple for the time being, look at the translation, see which part they have taken. Okay, and we come from here to here, and that's why we took the second half of 53. Or if you want to do it on your own, what you should do is look at which verb you're looking at. So which verb are we looking at? So here the Vilalapa is the Tingantam Padam, Ekating Vakyam. So when you find a verb, that's what defines a sentence. Unless you're in a clause, then you still don't have a sentence. But if you're in the main clause, then you have a sentence. So that is why we stopped over there. Now, so simple sentence is Raghavaha Vilalapa. Of course, Raghava is Ramavat Shabdaha. It is, he comes from Raghu, so it's Raghavaha. So Tadita from Raghu, Raghavaha, like Bhargavaha, like, Kauravaha. So that is a simple sentence. And now we have a clause over here, Drishtva. This you have seen many, many times now in Ramayanam. Pratyaktva. The Pani Sutram is 3.4.21. It says, Samanakartikayoho purvakale. Samanakartikayoho purvakale. That puts a structure on the whole sentence. The moment you see a twa, and of course the twa becomes the lyap, becomes the ya. When you have a samasa, when you have an upasarga there, or some other samasa, it becomes ya. So the moment you see that, you have a samanakarta doing two actions. And the purvavartini kriya is given by the tva pratyaya. What dhatu is taken in tva, that's the purvavartini kriya. Samanakartikayoho purvakale. Sutram says, let's go to our Ashtadhyayi, not going into too much detail. Let's go to 3.4.21. Very, very common construct. You see it all the time. Where here it is. Samanakartikayoho. So it's a kriya which has the same karta, and purvakale, the one which is the earlier action, is taking the tva pratyaya. And it comes in Gita also. Now I love these searching things. I'm going crazy with the search. But it is, let's see, Drishtva. Drishtva. Okay. No, I'm sorry. It's the wrong thing. Drishtva. Yeah, Drishtva. Adrishtapuram rishitosmi Drishtva. Adrishtapuram rupam Drishtva rishito asmi. So I am very happy to see this form which I have not seen before. So Drishtva is in Gita, very, very simple form. So anyway, the reason why we have to take that part of the sentence also was because that is the clause. So that is the clause which we need to connect with the main clause, which vilalapa. So that is why we have to take this whole thing. And this drishtva is now taking these objects. Nihatam Ridram and Maithilim Ritam. So that's how the sentence was formed. Why we went from here to here? Because we had to take this verb that made the sentence. The karta was Raghava, but he was samana karta. He was doing two actions. So we have to pick up the earlier. This one is now tagging on with this same karta. We have to take the drishtva with that. Drishtva is taking objects with it. These two. So and shutva, I'm sorry, two is two of them. Drishtva and drishtva is taking object of Gridram, Nihatam, and Shrutva is taking object of the Dhritam Maithilim. Also one more thing is that the Ktva Pratyaya, you can have more than two actions. You can have three. You can chain them all together. So Dvivachanam Atantram means that this Dvivachanam means the dual form is Samana Kartike. Yo in the Panini says doesn't mean there are only two actions. There can be two or more actions also. So okay, so that's why we constructed the whole sentence. So Gridram is now, even though it could have been a Napumsakalingam Prathama Ekvachanam, it is not going to be, because we already found the Karta for Raghava. This is Raghava Vilalapa. And now one more thing you can see is that the Nihatam is qualifying Gridram. Nihatam is qualifying Gridram. So that's also going to take the same vibhakti as Gridram. Of course, there also could be Ramavat Ditya Ekvachanam, could be Vanavat Prathama Athva Ditya Ekvachanam. So that also doesn't exactly tell you, but from this construction we see Vilalapa is the subject is Raghava, and Gridram is the object of Drishtva. So it will not be Prathama, it will be Ditya Ekvachanam. So Gridram will be Ditya Ekvachanam, could be Pullinge, Napumsakalingeva. So that's how we get. And Nihatam, okay, go ahead, Ravi. Cho is?
Yes, Nihatam is similar to Grudram, Satishi.
Cho is an Avyapadam. And sure. Nihatam, what's the dhatu here?
It should be Han.
Dhatu. So correct. And then the, where is coming Gita? Nihan. Nihan combination. Not the same form, but the Nihan combination comes in Gita. Chapter 1.
Nihatya dharsa rashtrana
Kartikam in Gita, very good. Harsha Vardhate Mama. Very happy to see that, to hear that I should say. Correct. Kartik is right. Nihatya dharsa rashtrana kapritisya janartana. So having killed the son of Dhritarashtra, what joy will come to us? So it comes in Gita, of course. So it means that Nihatam means killed, Hataprayam. In this case, there's a small technicality, is that he was not killed as yet. He was Mranonmukham. So Mranonmukham, he's about to die. So Mritaprayam, he was not completely Nihatam as yet. In fact, if you look at the commentaries, because he's going to tell him now the Sita was taken away, right? So he's not yet killed. If you look at shloka number 53, look at the Tika, Hatva means Hataprayam. This is Hataprayam. So Nihatam Drishtva says, Vilapa Krudram Va Ravanena. Correct. So he was almost dead. So Nihatam is Hataprayam, almost dead. So that's from the context. From the context, Now the Nakara drops by that. In that this Dhatu Han, Nakara drops. This rule is 6437. Won't go into too much details. But basically, when you have these Anit Dhatus, which are, Yama, Nama, Gama, Rama, and the Han and Man, and also some other Dhatus, they drop their nasal when followed by a Pratyaya, which is a Jaladi Pratyaya, and has K or Gnu as an It. So in a lot of conditions, but the Pratyaya is Ta Pratyaya over here, and that rule applies. So we have the, what we have is Ni. Otherwise, you're wondering how this Dhatu Han is there. So because that Na has dropped over there, because the Pratyaya Ta came in, which is Anubandha Lope, only Rashakvata Dite, only Ta remains. So we get the form Nihata, and that is, if you want to look at the details, it's in Sutra number 6437. But anyway, at least be aware of the fact that these dhatus, Yama, Nama, Gama, Rama, Mana, Hana, and Dhatu 1, and also the dhatus of the Tanotyadi Gana, the 8th Gana, they can drop their nasal when the Pratyaya is a Jhaladi Pratyaya, which has that K or the Gnu as in it. So otherwise, you don't have to recognize the dhatu, So at least if you know that this thing happens, you will have, information to make a good guess of what the dhatu might be. Okay. Now, so nihatam is qualifying gridhram. So gridhram nihatam drishtva. Again, notice the position of the cha. It's a connecting word. It always goes one word later than in English. You should say and having seen. Here it will be vulture and killed having seen. So that cha or the tu or the wa or the whatever it's he, it always will come one word later, maybe one clause later. Then it will not come at the top of the sentence. Okay, so drishtva. So drishtva dhatu is drish, is anit dhatu. Is going through some sandhi rules now. So quick sandhi rules is the dhatu. If you look at the dictionary, you'll find dhatu is ending in talavya shakara. So talavya and talavya shakara and dhatu. So it becomes drish talavya shakara plus the pratyaya twa. So of course twa, the ka is in it, so only the twa remains. Rashakvatadite twa remains. So we have three things happening here. What's happening first is that, again, if you don't know all the rules, at least you know that this thing happens. If you keep on reading a lot, you may not know the sutras, but you will know these kind of operations do take place. So then you can make a guess what the dhatu might be. You can have the various choices in your mind what the dhatu could be. So what is happening is we're having like a two-step process over here. One is that the dhatu talavya shakara first becomes murdhanya. That's the first thing. And then after that, that triggers the dental takara to become a takara. So those are two things which are happening. So drishtva. The first one which happens is by rule 8236. So the simple rule is that when you have a dhatu ending in a talavya shakara, it's followed by either a jal letter or padante. In that case, it becomes murdhanya shakara. So 8236 is the rule for that. So looking at the final form, there was no way to tell whether the dhatu was actually the talavya shakara or the murdhanya shakara at the end. You cannot tell. But if you look at the dictionary, you will notice that you will not find a dhatu ending in the. So you can try both and see which one you get a hit for. And if you see that clearly, if you look at the dhatu drish with the talavya shakara, you'll find it. You will see that it's there. Here it is. Drish is to see. And if you look at to look, to see, to observe, to view, to behold. If you try the one with the murdhanya shakara, you will not. You should not. No, there's no dhatu drish. Only drishta, drishti all you're getting. So at least if you're aware of the fact that talavya shakara can become murdhanya, then you can know that okay, this dhatu might be dhatu drish talavya or murdhanya. You try both of them in dictionary, and of course you'll know that dhatu drish is there in the talavya shakara is there, drishtva. And the next operation of course is tunashtuhu, which is in simple English, the dental letters are weak. The dental is weak. When it comes in contact with the cerebral or the palatal, the dental matches that. So here we had now the dental ta coming in contact with the cerebral sha. So it matched the murdhanya, it became ta, became drishtva. So it's a common sandhi, but just some basic analysis of sandhi drishtva. And then one more clause here. Okay, go ahead, Ravi. What's that? Hritam.
Hritam, it's from Hrui Harane.
Right. It's also a past participle. What's called as a past passive participle. It's a bad term to use because many times this pratyaya is neither past nor passive. Very particularly if you have any dhatu in the sense of motion or any dhatu which is a akarmaka dhatu, this will not be a passive pratyaya. For example, suptaha, balakaha, suptaha, the boy is sleeping. He cannot be passive. He cannot be slept on. And then he says, sthitaha, he's standing. He's not standing on. So even though we say past passive participle, better to say the pratyaya is kta, and ta is the nishtha pratyaya because Panini says taktavatu nishtha. So this so-called past passive participle and the past active participle, they're called nishtha by Panini. So this is all technical terms which you need to know because if you read in any kind of commentary, they will say nishtha, and you're wondering what is nishtha. So nishtha is a technical term vyakaranam. It means these two pratyayas kta and tavatu. So most common is kta. That's much more common. That's what we have here. Of course, in this case, it is passive. So just like we had nihatam means one who was killed, or almost killed rather. Yeah, Ritam is she is the one who's abducted. She was abducted. Ritam. In both cases, you're not getting any idagama because this is a why no idagama over here? It's not Ramayanam Class, but anyway, anybody? It's a state dhatu, isn't it? Or is it not? It's anit dhatu. Okay, sorry, anit dhatu. So because in the udrudantaihi, only long u and long ru dhatus are state dhatus. This is short ru. So this is going to be anit dhatu. And so a dhatu han. So this can take an idagama. Like pat becomes patita. But in this case, these two happen to be anit dhatus. I mean, they don't allow idagamas to come. Okay. Now who is this qualifying? Ritam?
Maithilim.
Maithilim. So Maithilim is from Mithila. And that is the Tadita from Mithila becomes Maithili. Okay. So now it goes through some process, becomes Maithilim. Now Ritam Maithilim. So Sitam basically, Maithilim. So in fact you can look up here also. Let's see, if you can hear this all you can look up Apte. Let's see what Apteji says, how he gets to Maithilim. If he might give us that one, Maithilim. Okay. Anything wrong here? Maithili. Maithili, no hit for that. Maithili is not an Apte. Should be there, right?
Might be along with Maithila, maybe in one entry he might have given more than
one. That's
correct. Or Mithila, Satish.
Maithila, yes. Okay, Mithila. Mithilayam Bhavaha, and king of Mithila. Oh, name of Sita, I already gave it. Name of Sita. That's Maithili. Okay, so Maithili. Okay. So Maithila will be Janakaha. Mithilaya Manu occurs in Mithila. And Maithili is Sita. Okay. Now, so Maithilim, so and this is the object of Shrutva. Dhatu Shru, again another Anit Dhatu. And the Pratyaktva, again the same thing. The Samanakarta is Raghavaha. So having heard that Sita had been abducted, where did he hear that from? From the Gridha Mukhaditi Shesha. The commentary on this is saying Gridha Mukhaditi Sheshaha. So he heard it from the mouth of the vulture. So the Jatayu told him that Sita had been abducted. That's what you had from the context. Okay, so we got two things so far. So having seen the vulture who was almost killed, and having heard from him in brackets that Sita had been abducted. And you can look at this one. This is also another cha. This was a clause. Ritam Shrutva is a clause. Cha Maithilim. So again, this cha should have come in English prior to between these two. So these are the two clauses, right? Having seen this, having heard this. But this Ritam Shrutva is like a clause. So it is coming after the clause. Cha Maithilim. Okay? So Raghava already we know. This comes from Raghu. So Raghava is Tadita from Raghu. In the line of Raghu who comes is Raghava. Shoka Santaptaha. What kind of compound is Ravi?
This is Tritiya Tatpurusha, Satish.
Very good. Tritiya Tatpurushaha. The Santaptaha, agitated or troubled, afflicted by grief, on account of grief. Shokena Santaptaha. Shoka Santaptaha. Very common compound. When you see this participle form, again, this is also a ta pratyaya over here, Santaptaha. Dhatu tab became taptaha, Santaptaha. So we have three of them so far. We got Nihatam, we got Ritam, we got Taptaha. So these are all passive. So the vulture was almost killed, Sita was abducted, and Sri Ramaha was afflicted with grief. Shokena Santaptaha. So simple compound is qualifying Raghava. So now go like Ramavat, be Prathama Ekavachanam. The sandhi like Namo Narayana sandhi, common visarga sandhi. So Shoka Santaptaha. Now Vilalapa. What's the lakara here, Ravi?
It should be lit, Satish.
Lit, because you see a duplication. Like Arjuna Uvacha. Of course in Uvacha you want a special thing, you also have the Samprasaranam. but when you see this duplication of the dhatu, duplication. And duplication, the entire dhatu won't remain. This duplication is what's called abhyasa. This la is the abhyasa. Dhatu is lap. So even though the entire dhatu is lap, in the duplication, only you can have a consonant remaining in duplication only if it's the first member. So a consonant has to be a first member, first part of the first letter in the abhyasa in order to survive. Everything else, all other consonants drop away. So we had the dhatu lap. We had two consonants, la and pa. The la was the first member, so it stayed, and the pa is the ending, so it went away. So la. Now all these rules come at the end of 7.4 in Ashtadhyayi. There are only 4 main rules. I said this many times. Say it one more time. There are 4 main rules, and they're I think start from 7.458. So 7.459 we can start. So we'll quickly in English one more time is okay. First rule is rasvaha. In the abhyasa, a vowel becomes short. Simple rule. Then second thing which what we used just now, haladi sheshaha, is that a hal which is adi, only that adir hal shishyate, only the first hal remains. Anya lupyante, others are gone. Then comes kuhosh chuho. In the abhyasa, a ka varga or the hakara becomes a cha varga, like a word like jagama, that we did last time I think, and also the word jaghana. So we had that also. And last thing is these are the main rules. And one is urat. In the abhyasa, the r becomes an akara, becomes chakara. Very, very useful rules. Please write these down because they give you a lot of ammunition to make a very good guess at these forms. So one more time, rasvaha in abhyasaha, so vowel becomes short. Haladi sheshaha is in the abhyasaha, only you have a hal remaining only if it's adi, only if it's the first member. And kuhosh chuhu, in the abhyasa, the ka varga, the hakara go to cha varga, and urat. In the abhyasa, the r becomes a. Okay, so right now we only used one of them, which is that in the abhyasa, the consonant can only remain if it's the first member. So we got la, lap, and now in the lit lakaraha, the good news is we only have third person. Because of parokshe lit. Parokshe lit. Lit can only be used parokshe when the speaker has not experienced the action. Only then lit can be used. Otherwise it cannot be used. Parokshe lit. That means that it cannot really be first person. It's going to be either second or third person. Even second person is very unlikely. But this lit means once upon a time. If I am talking to you, we couldn't be saying something once upon a time you did this. Because if I am here with you now, probably you are my contemporary now, So it couldn't be once upon a time if I'm talking about you. So it's 99% third person only lit, which is a good news. Now the thing is that in lit lakaraha, these pratyas, these verbal endings, they completely change. So in Prasnapadam, the tip, tas, and g, which is the singular, dual, plural of the third person. So Prathama Purusha Ekvachanam, Dvivachanam, Bahuvachanam. Yatha Sankyam, respectively, they become null atus us, null atus us, null atus us. Sutram is 3482. So that is why it is difficult to, if you don't know this sutram, and if you're looking at this form, if you're looking at Vilalapa, then how do you know this is a verbal form? If you're expecting something ending in T, or tas, or G, or sip, something like that. This is ending in A. So this you don't know this is a verbal form. But remember in the lit lakaraha, the tip becomes null. Null means that a chutu and halantyam, only the A will remain. So in lit lakaraha, so the tip tas G. So lit. So when the lit adesha, when the lit is replaced by tip tas G, these are going to become respectively tip tas G become null atus us. Null atus us. We did this before. This was repeating because in Ramayanam, Mahabharatam, Puranam, the lit is a very common lakara. It's an ancient narrative, So You're going to have lit many places. So tip tasji will become null atus us is replaced by. Again, you have to go through the two steps. You cannot bring in null unless you bring in tip. That's important because the null is not a pit pratyaya. You need the pitness of the tip to come down there. So don't skip any steps. Don't go to null directly. First put the tip, then put null in place of tip. So null will also be a pit pratyaya now. So null, that has some implications which you don't see in detail. But the important thing is that these are substitutions for tip tajji, null, atus, and us. So null means only a because of chutu halantyam. The others are only markers. So atus, and us. Null, atus, us. Remember these three in parasmapadam, null, atus, us. And the important one is this one right now. The one is that we're looking at this now. And one last thing is that because of that no as a marker, we're getting a vriddhi, become lapa, vela lapa. Instead of lapa, it became lapa. Like in uvacha, that you have in the word uvacha, dhatu was vach. But because atopadhaya has 72116, it became vacha, uvacha. That part you know already. So anyway, after all those things, we get the form vila lapa means raga vila ragavaha vila lapa means he lamented. Now akulendriyaha. What kind of compound is this, Ravi?
This sounds like Bahuvrihi, Satish.
It has to be. Why does it have to be Bahuvri? Why does it have to be Bahuvri?
There are different genders. Akulam is Napumsakalinga.
No, the Indriyaha, right? Final form, Indriyam is neuter.
Indriyam, okay.
Gita, right? Vashayasya Indriyani, Tasya Prajna Pratishtita. Indriyani comes in Gita. So Indriya is like Vana. Now this has become like Ramavat. It's qualifying Rama anyway, which has become Ramavat. But so that is the indication this is Bahuvri. Very quick sign is that you had Linga Parivartanam. Indriya was a neuter form. It became Indriyaha now. It cannot do that because in the basic four compounds are Dvandva, Tatpurusha, Bahuvri, and Avyabhava. She gives the wrong order. In the Ashtadhyayi order, the Avyabhava comes first. Avyabhava creates Avyas. And Dvandva and Tatpurusha, the lingam is of the last member. Panini says Paraval lingam, Dvandva Tatpurusha yoho. So here we don't have that. Indriyam was neuter. So this is not an Avyaya. And this is not Paraval lingam. It is not like the last member. So now we have Bahuvrihi. Bahuvrihi is Anyapada Pradhana. Anyapada Pradhana. It is dictated. The Pradhanyam dictated by something outside. They are basically the adjectives. In short, simple English, Bahuvri makes adjectives. It converts nouns to adjectives. As simple as that. So if the ending member is a noun, but now you have an adjective, that is Bahuvri. The Bahuvri, like the word Bahuvri itself. Bahuvri means lot of rice. So one who has a lot of rice, a rich man, is Bahuvri. So now, okay, what are the two forms? It is Akula Indriya. So can you give the Vidhara Vakyam?
Akulani Indriyani Yasya Saha.
Very good. Akulani Indriyani Yasya. One more thing in Bahuvrihi. Most of the time, you will have Samadhikaranam. The Vyadhikarana Bahuvri is rare. Is there? A few of them are there, like Chandramouli and all that. But Pinaka Panihi. But these are much more common, like Pitambaraha, Mahabahu. So if you think Bahuvrihi, then check if it is a Samadhikaranam. That will give you more confidence this is a Bahuvrihi compound. So as Ravi said, Akulani Indriyani Yasya Saha. So he lamented. So he was afflicted with grief, and his senses were distraught, were disturbed, with disturbed, confused senses. His senses were confused. So simple sentence is that Sri Rama lamented, and he lamented being afflicted with grief. His senses were confused. And when did he lament? Having seen the vulture, on the verge of death, and having heard, into brackets, from him that Sita had been abducted. So this is, Ramayanam is nice and simple, kind of simple. It gives you, but some verses are also difficult. So once Ramayanam can trip you up once in a while. Most of the time Ramayana is simple. About 80% of Ramayana is really simple. not that difficult to read. About 2% is kind of a little difficult. But those you can go to the commentary and they'll also help you out. Okay, let's try to translate this one. Let's get our Adhikrita Anuvadkaraha. Oh, okay, my thing now. Can you unmute Balraman? Somebody.
Yes, Sati.
Okay, my thing not working. Okay, Balramanji.
Namaste ji.
Namaste. Okay, let us start. Okay, can I keep in this one page? I think I might lose the verse. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to lose the. Okay, we'll go back and forth.
You can minimize it.
No, that will not.
I mean,
Oh, you know what? No, I
zoom in.
No, I can zoom in. Yeah. Okay, let's try this one. This might work. Okay. Okay. Now we are okay. Now, what is now? It's probably just added. I think maybe cha. Yeah, and now, okay. Let's think. Let's keep it as cha for the time being because I don't see a word for now. But and I think probably the cha. Okay. Tormented with grief.
Shoka samtapto.
Shoka santaptaha. So tormented is tapsantaptaha.
Uh-huh.
Tap to heat. Santapta is to mentally heated up means agitated. And grief is shokaha. Shokaha. So this very in Gita ma shuchaha many places. Do not grieve ma shuchaha. The dhatu shuch has two meanings. One is to grieve. One is to be also pure. Shuchihi. Shuchi is come shaucham. So it comes from that. It comes from Gita also shaucham. There's a couple of different meanings. And so lot of dhatus in here. With dhatu han we had, dhatu drish we had, dhatu dhru we had the dhatu shru we had, dhatu lap we had, dhatu shuch we had, dhatu tap we had. So a lot of dhatus. So Ramayanam, by the time we do Ramayanam, we can get them all. And dhatus are only few hundred of them are there, only a few hundred. And almost the whole language comes from these dhatus. Always make a note of the dhatus. What is the dhatu in there? No. Okay, so tormented with grief, we got that. Shokasantaptaha, to perceive.
Drishtva.
Drishtva, having perceived, to perceive, having perceived. The vulture.
Grigram.
Gridhram, mortally wounded.
Nihatam.
Yeah, the mortally is probably the knee. Hatam is wounded.
Uh-huh.
Hata is English, to hit. I was hit. So hata. Badly hit in English, nihata. Okay. And this
Cha?
I think this is the second cha probably.
Oh.
Second cha.
Yeah.
And to hear.
Shrutva.
Shutva. And from it is tasya mukhat. Is adhyarutam. Okay. This is from the commentary, by the way. When they put in brackets, mostly from the commentary. There's also one thing we do with Gita Press. Is you get a special bonus. Because not only you get translation from the verse, you got the translation from the commentary also now. Because all the important from the commentary they put in brackets. If you want to read the commentary, you can look at the Gita Press brackets. That is the commentary. Because the commentary they're given is that Gridha Mukhaditi Sheshaha. So from it, okay, of Sita.
Maithili.
Princess of Mithila, capital of India, having been forcibly carried off. This one.
Ratam.
Ratam. So Ru is to carry, like, Apurita is to take away, to abducted. Sri Ramaha, Sion of Raghu.
Raghavaha.
Loudly wailed.
Vilalapaha.
Vilalapa.
Vilapa.
Because he was that V is that Visheshan, Vilalapa. He loudly is the V. V is loudly. This is the good thing. This translation is very, very, very honest. It is very faithful to the original. That's why I like it. Just so you can do this what you want. Because a lot of times the paraphrase things is not good. This one they keep it. So they say this. See how beautiful translate. Loudly is the V, and this mortally was the knee. Everything, they don't leave anything out. Everything is put in translation. Loudly wailed. Okay, his mind agitated.
Kulendriyaha.
Akulendriyaha. Now the interesting thing is they put Indriya as the mind.
Mind.
So yeah, Indriya has a lot of sense. Indriya could mean all the senses also. Let me see. Do they have any commentary on Akulendriyaha? Akulendriya. No. Shoka paravasha indriya. Okay, not there. Let's see. Because I think one of the commenters might have said that, no. No. Okay, let me try another one. Akulendriya. Akulendriya. No commentary. Dukkha akranta anta. No, dukkha akranta. Okay, that's not it. Let me see. Kulishita sarvendriya. In fact, one of them says, Vyakulendriya, Kalushita sarvendriya. So this might be Gita Press's own, probably. It's possible. So they have taken Indriya as the mind over here. I'm not finding the commentary, at least at the one comment which I have. I don't see the Indriya as the mind, but it's another translation available to us. Okay. So anyway, Indriya can be in any senses. It can be all the senses. It can be in the mind also. Good. All right. Sinka, you're doing so well. Balaramji, can we do the next one for us? A little bit?
I'll try. But
Okay. Let's see. Now we have to go up to the all the way to the end of 50. So we're taking this 1.5 shloka now. So tatastatenaiva up to this one, Ghora Darshanam. Okay, let's read that one. Tatastenaiva shokena Gridram dagdva jatayusham Margamano vane sitam Rakshasam sandadarshaha Kabandham ramarupena Vikritam Ghora Darshanam. Tatastenaiva shokena Gridram dagdva jatayusham Margamano vane sitam Rakshasam sandadarshaha Kabandham namarupena Vikritam Ghora Darshanam. One more time. Tatastenaiva shokena Gridran dagdva jatayusham Margamano vane sitam Rakshasam sandadarshaha Kabandhan namarupena Vikritam Ghora Darshanam. We'll try Padacheda first, Balaramji.
okay.
Try, let's see what we get.
Is it for the first one? Is it tataha?
Tataha. Tataha tadanantaram. After that. Tataha.
Tena.
Tena. Very good.
Eva.
Tena eva. Tena. Buddhirechi. Tena eva. Tena eva.
Shokena.
Shokena. Yes.
Gridram.
Gridram. Very good.
Dagdva.
Dagdva. Very good.
Jatayusham.
Jatayusham. Okay.
Margamanaha.
Margamanaha. Correct.
Vane.
Like Namo Narayanaya. Margamanaha. Vane. Correct. So,
Sitam.
Sitam.
Rakshasam.
Rakshasam.
That's
That's the thing on the left. That's the verb. Sandadarsha.
Sandadarsham.
The upasarga is some. So there's only 22 upasargas, and some of them are very, very, very common ones, and some is one of them. Excuse the pun. Some of them are very common, and some is one of them. This some is because they're only like upasargas like para, para, pari, vi, ni. In fact, in last class we had them. We had ni over here, we had vi over here. If you know that the sum is upasarga, then this makes sense. The darsha. You can see duplications going on here. Same the ending the same ending as we had in Milalapa is coming here also. The darsha. So and upasarga is sum. So this is a actually technically speaking, the sum is a pratak padam. The darsha is the verb, but we can take it together. Sam the darsha. Okay, the reason is that because the verbs don't compound. Verbs don't compound. So even though we write sandadarsha, because when Panini talks about compound, he says sup supa. So we have to pay one sup under the sup. Tingantam na samasyate. The tingantam will not compound. So the darsha is the verb, and some is upasarga technically sitting outside, but they come before the dhatu, but they don't compound. Okay, some dadarsha. Okay, ha is now there. Next one.
Kabandham.
Kabandham.
Nama.
Nama.
Rupena.
Rupena.
Vikritam.
Vikritam.
Ghora Darshanam. Is it a compound?
That's a compound. How do you know it's a compound? Because the vibhakti of Ghora is not there. But if it would have been He Ghora, which does not make any sense. So when because of the sutram supo dhatu pratipadika yoho, instead of pratipadikam, the sup cannot stay. And because the samasa creates a pratipadikam, because of from this krit tadita samasascha. The samasa creates a pratipadikam. Inside the pratipadikam, as a general rule, the vibhakti will not, the sup pratyaya will not stay. That's how you can recognize compounds. Of course, when you have a term which is declined and undeclined the same, then you don't know it's compound or not. That's the only time you have to think. Because if there is a declined and undeclined form is the same, like all avyayas, you don't know whether it is, like a word like Rama we saw today. Like today Rama we saw in the first, Rama is also the pratipadikam. Rama is with the Sri Pratyaya top. Rama is also now going to be the Prathama Ekavachanam. When you say Rama Patihi, so you don't know whether it is compound or not. So Rama could be outside the compound, could be inside the compound. Because Rama is available to you as a Prathama Ekavachanam, Pruthak Padam. Rama is also in the compound also. So that's the time. But here Ghora is an adjective. It'll go like, Rama, Sita or Vana. So Ghora could have been only He Ghora. So it won't make any sense. So it's in the compound. So, okay, let's try to do some vibhakti now. So Tataha is an avyaya padam. Tataha. Tadyita from Tat Pratipadikam. Tataha means after that, following that, after the Panchami Arthe. Tataha, after that. Now Tena, what is Tena? Vibhakti of that?
Tena can be Saptami, but I don't think here it is Saptami.
No, it's not Saptami. Tritiya. By that. Ramena, like Ramena, right? So Ramena. Tena is Tritiya. Saptami will be Tasmin. Saptami is Tasmin. This is Tena. What sutram is that? Remember? How will you get Ramena? Ramena, because the pratyaya is star, right? Rama plus star. So we got Ta Nyasina Sam Inat Syaha. Ta Nyasina Sam Inat Syaha. The Ta became Ina. And we got the Tena. Of course, in the meanwhile, what happens? Chadadina Maha, the Tad becomes Ta. Anyway, at least the ending is like Ramena, right?
Yeah.
So it's Tritya Vibhakti. So Tena. It's a pronoun. It's qualifying whom? Who's behind it? Look in the shloka. You see another term in the same Vibhakti, right? Who is that? Shokena. So Tena Shokena. Tena Shokena.
So it should be Rama.
So no, it's qualifying Shoka.
Oh.
Tena Shokena. Because it has to be Samadhikaranam. It means that other term which is driving it should have the same gender, should have the same.
Yeah, right.
In gender number case. So it has to be in Samadhikaranam. You should connect it to Shokena. So Tena Shokena. By that very Tena Eva is an avyaya padam. Tena Eva Shokena. So with that very grief. Tena Eva Shokena. So Shoka is the noun. From Dhatu Shuch we saw it before. Shokaha means grief. So Shokena. So with that, by that grief. And so Shokena is by grief. Then Tena Shokena by that grief. Tena Eva Shokena by that very grief. Okay. Now Tritiya can come in few things, Tritiya can come in the sense of Hetu. It can come in the sense of Shokena Saha. It can come, It can come Karana. So by means of that, which one do you think it is over here? So by that grief.
By that grief.
Means on account of the grief? Or is it with that grief? With the grief itself?
I think here it is with that grief, because with that grief is...
With that grief, you can also supply something. You can supply something that this could be a karta, which is in the passive now. So let's look at at this point you can look at the comment, because it's not very clear, because like if you say Tena Shokena Saha, then Saha, then with that grief you could have got that. But now it is not. So let's look at the comment. It says Tena eva Shokena Nivritti Hetum Apraptena, means that the Shoka had not gone away. Abhibhuyamanaha means he was being tormented by that. He was being afflicted by that. So you supply that. So Tena eva Shokena Abhibhuyamanaha means he was being pressed down, afflicted by that. overpowered with that. That's what one is saying. Say tenaiva shokena. Let's see. Tenaiva shokena. Yakulendriha. Tenaiva shokena. Let's see. Some of them give long commentaries because they make like some different meanings of that one. Okay, tena tijayjatim sadrisha prasiddham sharmanaha yatasham maranantaram tena prakrita vilakshena shokena sambhoga poshaka shoka suchaka vyapade. Upalakshitaha means upalakshitaha is what? Is indicated by that, characterized by that. So you basically have to supply something here. So upalakshitaha means characterized by that. Characterized by that, the shlokaha. So, in fact, there is this thing called, ittam bhute tritiya, ittam bhute tritiya. And let's go to Ashchade for 1 second. Let's see. This, any vibhaktis that you have to go to the 2.3 Ashtadhyayi, 2.3 of Ashtadhyayi. Is that Panini ittam bhuta lakshane, I think it is ittam bhuta. So, ittam bhuta. Ittam bhuta, ittam. That's not the one. Okay, let me find it for you.
Satishji, you can only search for ittha.
Oh, ittha, let me try that. Ittha. Let's see. Yeah, that's one. Very good idea. It's 2.3.21. Ittam bhuta lakshane. Ittam bhuta, like when somebody is characterized by that, that's a special characteristic. For example, you say chatram. You say chatrena upadhyaya. Chatrena upadhyaya. He's a teacher. He's the one, that teacher who always carries the umbrella with him, the umbrella carrying teacher. Means that chatrena upalakshitaha upadhyaya. So you can say jatabhi tapasaha. So he is a tapasaha. He is an ascetic, whose special characteristic, special mark is that he has that jata, locks of hair, matted hair he has. So this Rama was characterized by that feature at that time. That's his characteristic feature. So that's also one way of connecting a tritiya. So anyway, the bottom line was that that's one way. I mean, this has to be the only way. You can also could have made it simple. Tena saha vartamanaha. So one who was with that, one who was carrying that grief with him. So who was with that grief. You can take it as my own simple meaning. So you have taken it that way. So one who was along with that grief, or who was being tormented by that grief, or who was characterized by that grief. So this is another way of looking at it. Anyway, you have to account with tritiya because it's kind of left hanging here without any clear thing to justify what it is. It's not hetu because it will be on account of that grief. Probably not on account. That's probably not a good meaning over here. So it can be tena saha, tena upalakshitaha, tena abhibhuyamanaha. So these are the meanings that we can take. Okay. So tena was okay. No? So by that very grief. So characterized by that, being afflicted by that, or with that very grief. Okay. Gridham dagdva. So gridham is 7.4.
Dvitiya.
Dvitiya equation. And dagdva. What is dhatu? This different pratyek tva is there. What is dhatu? You guess it?
Should be daganam or something close to dag.
Dhatu will be dah. Ravi, can you unmute Vasu Ravi? Unmute.
Sure, Satish.
Mine is not working. I could not unmute. Yes, Vasu.
Satish ji, the question is coming back to shokena.
Yes.
Tena eva shokena. If you put the eva after shokena, eva, would it make a difference?
Tena shokena eva.
Yeah.
So by that grief alone, it
Yeah.
makes a difference. Because if you say tena eva shokena, by that very grief. If tena shokena eva, it will become by that grief alone, by nothing else. That's what it does make a difference, yes.
Okay.
So tena is by that very. And tena shokena becomes then what happens is that shokena eva becomes then the connection, So by the grief alone. So that will be in the connection, slightly different. It just does make a difference because this logically, see what it follows. That will drive that. So Okay, you can mute him again. Okay, so dagdva, dhatu here is dah. Dhatu is dah. Dah is to burn. So having burned, having cremated. So dhatu is dah. Then the pratyaya, again the twa pratyaya is coming. So now again we have a samana karta doing two things. So who is the samana karta over here? Again it's Rama only, it has to be. What's the next kriya you think, Balraman?
Is it the next kriya, next verb you mean? It's
because one person is doing two actions,
it's Sandadarsha.
Sandadarsha, very good. Sandadarsha. You have a knack for this, Balam. You're good at this. Very good. Sandadarsha. So having cremated the vulture, he then saw this Rakshasa.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the next kriya. So always find out who is samana karta, what is uttaravatini kriya. So it is Raghavaha, Rama samana karta, and then the Sandadarsha Rakshasam, that is uttaravatini kriya, he saw him. Okay, so dhatu, daf plus that dva. So Ravi, what's sutram here quickly?
Satishi, could we apply dader dhator ghaha?
Very good. Apavada for what?
It's hodhaha.
Hodha, very good. So normally what happens is that when you have this hakara, followed by letter which is jhal letter or padante, it becomes a dakara, hodha, like a word moodha and all that. But this time, there's an exception to that, is that if there is a dhatu, beginning with a dakara, dader dhatu, and if that hakara becomes such a dhatu, so basically if you have the ha belonging to a dhatu, which begins with a dakara, then instead of getting hodha, you get the gha adesha, dader dhator gha, dader dhator gha. What number will that be?
I have no idea, Satishi.
8 to 32. 8 to 30 is around about the 8 to 30 is chohokuho, chohokuho. 31 is hodha. Probably maybe 32. I think 32 probably will be guessed. 8 to 32. It's below 31. Must be 32, 33. 8 to 32 is my guess. Yeah, 8 to 32. Because that chohoku is 30, hodha is 31. Dade dhator gha. So instead of getting the dhakaraha, you get the ghakaraha, dade dhator gha. Okay, and then that will do it. So become dag, becomes dag, and then twa. What's the next step, Ravi?
We could do jhashas tathor dhodha.
Very good. Jhashas tathor dhodha. What Sutram is saying is that if you have a number 4 letter, jhash, followed by a takara or takara, jashas tathoho, it is the takara, then that becomes into a dhakara. So one more time, if you have a number 4 letter, means number 4 in the columns, So when you say ka, kha, ga, gha, that gha is a chaturtha varna, followed by either a takara or takara, which we have the takara right now. Then that takara or takara becomes into a dhakara. Like a word like buddhi, very simple, like buddhi. Take buddh plus ti. That ti becomes dhi, then the prior dha becomes da. It's very common sandhi, buddhi, siddhi, all these words can be like that. So buddha plus ti. Now we have a dhakara, which is number 4 letter dhakara, followed by the takara. That becomes dha, and then the prior dha becomes into, what's the next step, Ravi?
Then we should do jhalam just jhashi.
Jalam jashi, very good. So we get, so first we're going to get dag plus dva, and this was this jashas tator dhodha. The important rule, jashas tator dhodha. Should be number 4 chaturtha varna, followed by takara or takara. That takara will become dhakara desha. And then finally, this is a jhal letter, followed by the letter of number 3 or 4 column. So jhalam, jash, jashi. Jhalam, jash, jashi. So that will be 8453. Jhalam, jash, jashi. 8453. Some sandhi rules, but the special rule here was that dader dhator ghaha. That was a special rule. Others are common. So jhalam, jash, jashi. So if you look at the Maheshwar Sutrani, so jal is of course any non-nasal, non-semi-vowel consonant, and the jash is the number 3 column. So, and this jash is number 3 or 4 column, because javai, garadash, jabagaradash. So this jash is number 3 or 4 column. This jash is only jabagaradash, it's on the column number 3. So what we do have is that we have this ga is a jal letter, followed by the dhakara, which is a jash letter, number 3 or 4 column. Then this is going to go to number 3 column. So we're going to get the so basically this gravitation number 3. Column number 3 is the gravitation place. They go to column number 3. So that's the bottom line is that Dadva. This is 8-4. Again, notice the order in the Tripadi. You first do the earlier rule, Dade Dhator Dha, followed by Jashashtator Dhodha, followed by Jalam Jashashi. So they're all in increasing numbers. Okay, so that's what we have. Now after that, yes.
The word Dogdha in Gita Dhyana Shloka,
Yes.
is it also derived in the same manner?
Same manner, because Tatya Trich only,
Okay.
So Duf takes guna, of course, Puganta Lagusi guna, Puganta guna, and then Puganta Lagupasacha, so Doh plus Tru, and same thing, Dogdru.
Okay.
Yeah, good point. Ravi has made a good point. Is that in the Gita we have this, even if you don't know all the rules, if you are in the Gita, Dogdha Gopalanandanaha, so Dogdha. Gita example, in Gita Dhyanam, you have the word Dogdha. Gita Dhyanam, you have the word Dogdha. Dhyanam, Dogdha Gopalanandanaha, Dogdha. Sandhis are the same, it's a different form, because this is the Pradivayam Dogdhru, one who milks, the milker. Okay, so let's continue, Balraman. So where were we? We were Dagdva. So Jatayusham. This is Jatayush.
Tritiya Vibhakti.
In Jata, it should be compact. Jata is to compact. Like we said, Jata, right? Matted hair, like compact, like put together. They kind of bunched together or compacted. So unfortunately, his life was compacted. So he's a compacted life, Jatayush. So Jatayusham is Jatayus Pratvidikam. Jatayusham, you just add the pratyaya, and you get the Murdanya Adesha by Adesha Pratyayoho, Jatayusham. Now that's the karma of Dagdva. So it's qualifying Grudram. So having cremated the vulture named Jatayuho. The Margamanaha, what kind of thing this is? What do you think this is Margamanaha?
I'm thinking of a compound, but I'm not sure.
It will not be a compound. It's a participle. Like Yajamanaha, Vartamanaha, Vartamanaha, like Vartamanaha, Labhamanaha, so Kriyamanaha. So this is a present participle in the Atmanipadam. It is because this is what's called a Pratyaya Shanach. Only thing this is an Arsha Prayoga. This is an Arsha Prayoga, by the way. What is Arsha over here? Okay. Let's look at a dhatu in the what gana is a dhatu? Marg. Let's see marg.
Could it be 10th Gana, Satish?
Yeah. So what should have been the form, Ravi? It's also first gana, but it is Parasnipadam. But 10th gana is Uvepadi. This dictionary is a typo. This online dictionary is a typo. Every time the 10th gana comes as first gana. This is a typo in the dictionary all the way through. You know Kalpesh ji, notice that? Kalpesh ji, if you're there. In this dictionary online, all the 10th gana is coming as first gana. I don't know why it is happening, but anyway.
Yes, I agree with you. That one U is just shows you that it's Uvepadi, and mostly that's because of niche, right?
So yeah, so it says that one U actually is 10U. 10U.
Yeah.
So it's 10U. Now see in the first gana, Ravi, because it's Parasyapadam, you couldn't get the form Margamana. It would have been what? Take Margati, it would become Margan. Right? Margan. So Margamana means should be Margayamana. Margayamana it should have been. But that is Arsha Prayoga. So Margayamana, so that that niche taking the guna and command with shab that has been dropped over there. So just make it Margamana. So okay. So this has been declined basically like a first kana. Maybe Valmiki didn't see the dictionary, did he? One U. You look at the one U, that will do it, because we say that it will become Margamana. But it is not. It should be Margayamana. Then the commentator says that. So Margayamana, Marg means searching. One is searching. Is qualifying Rama. Margamana, Margayamana is searching. Again, in English, these become indeclinables. I am searching, you are searching, all are searching, they are searching. But here it has to be it has to be an adjective to the one who's searching. So Margamana is qualifying Ramaha. If it means Sita, it will be Margamana Sita. But Margamana Ramaha. So it should be Margayamana Ramaha. Okay? How about 1A? Simple,
It's
right?
Saptami. In the forest.
In the forest. Sita and Ditya Ekujam. It is karma of what?
It is Ramaha.
So it is object of what verb? Because Ditya means
Sitam, Margamanaha Sitam.
Margamana Sita. And not Dadarsha, because this is confusing because you have two things here. You have
Yes,
Margamana
Rakshasam.
Sita, then Rakshasam Sandadarsha. So this is the object of Sandadarsha, and this is Margamana Sita.
If Rama found Sita, there will be no Ramayana.
The meaning, Vyakaranam also will not be there. Ramayana also will not be there. So, and then the Rakshasam will be hanging then. He will have nowhere to go. So, anyway, because of placement, that the Sitam is the object of the Margamana house. And the Darsha takes the object of Rakshasam. So, the also important point that these participles, they can take an object. When they're in the active sense, by the way, Kartari, then they can take an object. Not all of them. If we say Ramena Vali Hataha, Hata already is passive, no? You cannot take an object anymore. But this Margamana is present participle active. One is searching, so he can take his object. Rakshasam is like, Ramavati. Sandadarsha. So some is Upasarga. Dadarsha, again, the same pratyaya and null is coming here. Dhatu is Drish. If you go through the rules which I gave you before, those 4 rules, we can now use them here now. Dhatu is, let me see if you can tell me which ones they are around. Only 4 rules we gave you, right? Let's try them again. So Dhatu is Drish with the Talavishakara, Drish. So now let's go through these 4 rules and see if we can get the answer with that. Okay, Rasvaha. Will it make a difference here?
No.
No. It's already Drish, only the
already small.
That has no effect. Haladi Shesha. Only the Hal can remain if it's only the first member. So what will that do to Drish? We have 2 Hals, the and Sh. Dakara is first, Sh is the third member, right? So Sh will drop. So that will remove the Talave Shakara in the Abhyasa Bhaga. So Haladi Shesha. Only if you have a Hal, you can only survive if it's the beginning. So though it's the beginning, the Talave Sh is not, so that will go away. Okay, so that's now we got Dhru only. The Sh is gone. The next one is Kuhosh Chuhu. We have no application because that's only for Kavarga and Hakara. We don't have that. We only have Dhru remaining. But the last is Urat. Urat, so that the Uhu is Shashti of Ru Varna. So Ru Varna becomes Akara. So we have the Dhru. So it becomes the. The Ru will become O. So if we do the Abhyasaha, we have, just quickly, we have the Drish, and again Drish, and then we had the Pratyaya null. This is where we were. When we bought the tip became null. This is where we are. By Haladi Sheshaha, by 7460, this Drish became, so this will now become into Dhru by Haladi Sheshaha. So only this one will remain by 7460 when you apply the Haladi Sheshaha. So that becomes Dhru plus Drish plus null. Okay, or null means only Akara, Chutu Halantyam. And then we do the Urat. Now what's the other step coming here? But you can think about Balram, and I think you know the rule. In place of Ru, we want to make an Adesh of O. Think of a rule which comes in here. Any rule which comes in here?
Is it Uran, which we saw?
Uran Raparaha, very good. In place of Ru, when you do an Anna Adeshaha, it becomes Raparaha. What will it make it then? What will that make it? Make it Dar. Make it Dar. Because even though the Adesha for Ru is only A, it becomes Raparaha. It becomes Raparaha. So we're going to get Dar. And then the remaining part is the same. You can do Haladi Shesha again now. you can do one more time haladi shesha. So haladi shesha. So here when doing dar, we used the 7466 urat along with uran raparaha. Uran raparaha. So any adesha, anadesha in place of ru should be raparaha. And then finally haladi shesha one more time. That will get us to where we want, right? In the meanwhile, this ru over here, this ru is going to take guna adesha because of the pratyaya null. So and then here also uran raparaha. Because in place of this ru, you get the guna of ar. So a plus raparaha ar become darsha. So the darsha. So the darsha will be the final form. The darsha. I said the sum is upasarga. So this again haladi shesha one more time by 7460 haladi shesha, and then you get the form darsha. This is because we did the puganta lagu upatasya cha, and then also uran raparaha one more time. Anyway, the abhyasa bhagaha, only those four rules, you try them out. First one is the vowel becomes short, no effect in our case. Second thing is the hull remains only if it's first. The shakara was gone in abhyasa. Urat, the ru becomes a, became raparaha, became dar. Again haladi shesha, became da. So you can always check the abhyasa. It's a very, very good simple set of rules that you can follow. Check these four. Okay, so I think we are pretty much done. No, actually we have the next part also. Okay. No, I'm the wrong page. This page. Okay. Okay. Chandadarsha. How is indeed? So it goes. So it goes. Her means this, so the way. So this is the way it was. It doesn't have any special meaning. It's like a historical accounts. So it was. So they say. The kabandham nama rupena vikritam ghoradarshanam. This all is qualifying whom?
The Rakshasa.
Rakshasam. Very good. Rakshasam. So kabandham is also.
Kabandham is again Tritiya.
Tritiya ekvacham is also Ramavat.
Mm-hmm.
So nama, what is that nama? What do you think, Karthik? Nama, what is this? What are the choices here?
It's an avriya, yeah.
Yeah, it's an avriya. But could have been, what could it have been? But
Naman pratipadikam also.
very good. Naman pratipadikam, Ditya Prathama Ekavachanam. It won't fit at all because you already got Ditya Ekavachanam in the Kabandham and Rakshasam. So if you put Nama as the Ditya, Prathama is of course no use because Prathama will be the Karta then. So Kartru I should say. Here between Ditya, object of what then? So this Nama also has an Avriya Nama. Means Namna. This Nama means Namna, by name. Kabandha by name, Nama. This by name, this is an Avriya. So named, called, this is the one, see? Named, called, by name. So it's a particle used in the following. This is an Avriya sense of, so it's very confusing. And this is a very common usage. So even though the Parivatikam Naman is there, that will only give Dvitiya or Prathama Ekvachanam. And we should not fit in this context. We already have the Dvitiya object of that Dadarsha. Prathama of course is Rama, he is the Karta. So then there is no point. So this is the important thing. This Nama is an Avriya in the sense of by name. Dasharatho Nama Raja Babhuva. There was a king named Dasharatha. So Dasharatho Nama Raja Babhuva. So this is Nama. Nama has other meanings also, but it's not the only meaning. But this is the one also which is used. So we have to be aware of that. So this is an Avyaya, means basically Namna, by name. Kabandham, by name. Now Rupena, what vibhakti is that?
It's again like Shokena, Tritiya.
Tritiya Ekvachanam, of course this is a neuter form, like Vanena, Rupena. Now Rupena goes with what? It's connecting with what?
It's with Gora Darshanam.
Rupena Vikritam.
Oh, Upena Vikritam, okay.
So his form was deformed. Deformed. By form he was deformed. So there's a Vartikam for this, by the way, is that this Katyana says some of these Titiyas are idiomatic. He says Prakrityadi Gana is the Prakrityadi is that means he is a good person by nature. Prakritya Sadhu. Right? So he says same Naman also, Namna Satishaha. By name I am Satishaha. Gotrena Kapihi. Gotrena Kapihi. By Gotra I am Kapihi. So like that, these are the Sthitiyas. So Rupena Vikritam. So by form, he was, if you look at his form, he was deformed. Rupena. Nothing, because this is not Hetu, it is not Rupena Saha, It is not Lakshita because Vikritam. So, this is idiomatic Tritiya is there. So, be aware of this idiomatic Tritiya. It's called Prakritya Adigana is there. Prakritya Sadhu. So, like, there's some of these also adverbs. Samena Dhavati. This Vatikam is used to form adverbs also. Sukhena Jivati. Means he lives happily. Samena Dhavati. He runs with an even speed. And so on. So Rupena Vikritam, I think we can use that one here. Rupena, so by form. In terms of his form, he was deformed. Vikritam. Vikru. Kru is to do, Vikru is to transform. His form was transformed. Again, that Vikritam is also the Dvitiya Ekvachanam. It's going along with the Rakshasam, everything. Rupena is idiomatic Tritiya, which is hanging on there, Rupena. The Ghora Darshanam is what kind of compound is that, you think? Ghora means like terrible. Darshanam means a sight.
So the darshanam, the Gora is needed for darshanam. So it is definitely not Rama, Bharata, Shatrugna. That thing is not there.
No, not Dvandva. It's not Dvandva, no.
Yes.
It's not A and B.
I don't know the technical name for this.
Bahuvrihi. It's because Ghoram Darshanam Yascha Saha. We're not talking about, so Ghoram is one whose sight was terrible. One whose sight was terrible. So Ghoram, again, Darshanam could have been the one who sees, but it's not the one. Darshanam means sight. So that's a noun hanging at the end. You see, the thing is that we want this Ghora Darshanam to qualify the Rakshasam. That's obvious, I think. Right? So now this one is a noun at the end, Darshanam. So how can we make it qualify Rakshasam unless we make it Bahuvrihi? So Ghoram Darshanam Yasya Saha. So one whose sight was terrible, of terrible sight, terrible look. Okay, let's try. Let's go down here. So we're giving, Balaram is doing double duty for us today, double duty. So he is now doing the translation and also, okay, maybe I have to minimize, maybe I have to go a little bit less. Let's try that. Okay, let's see, that might be enough. All right, let's start from, let's see. Okay, then, what is then?
Tataha.
Tataha, very good. So we are down here, Tataha. Having cremated.
Dagdva.
Dadva, okay. The vulture.
Grudram.
Grudram. Jatayu.
Jatayusham.
His life was compacted, Jatayusham. And
Cha.
is not there. I supply that. Let me supply that. Hunting of Sita. Oh.
Is it Margamano?
Yeah, Margamana.
Sita Margamano.
Sita Margamana. In the forest.
Vane.
Vane. In that very state of grief.
Tenaiva Shokena.
Tenaiva Shokena, correct. Tenaiva Shokena Vartamanaha. So Vartamana Laksha, so Lakshitaha Vartamanaha. So they are taking that meaning. Tenaiva Shokena. So Lakshitaha. The very state of grief. So in is a Saptami. No, I shouldn't say in. There's no Saptami here. But
no, Vane in that Saptami.
So that very is the Eva, and that is Tena, and state of grief is Shokena. So in that is really not, there's no Saptami here. There's an English translation. It's characterized by that very grief, or along with that very grief, like that. Sri Ramaha is there in the shloka? No, I think that is.
I don't think so.
You have to supply that, Sri Ramaha. Because he's the karta of the verb, so you can take it from the prior words, Raghava. Take it down from there. Anuvritti. So descried.
Is it Sandadarsha?
I think we need English dictionary now for this one. So yeah, I must know what the reverse now. So Sandadarsha, he saw. And Ogra is
Gora Darshanam?
No, Rakshasam.
Oh, okay.
Rakshasam. And that is an interesting thing, by the way. Ugra, right? Ugra becomes Ogra. This is Ugra. Ugra is, I think this is from the English, from the Sanskrit Ugra. Comes this from Ogra, I think. My could be also be wrong pronunciation on my part, but anyway. Kabandha.
Kabandham.
By name.
Nama.
Who was deformed.
Vikritam Rupena.
Vikritam only.
Okay.
And of body.
Rupena.
Deformed of form, deformed body. and is a supply. Terrible to look at.
Now Gora Darshanam.
And so the tradition goes.
Ha.
Ha. Very good. Okay. We'll give Balraman a break. Good job. Let's bring Karthik on. You ready, Karthik? Ravi, can you mute Balraman, please?
Satishji.
Okay, Karthik. Now let's take next one. They're taking down to. Okay, I think this is the next line. So tam nihatya mahabahur dadaha sargatascha saha sachasya kathayama sa shavarim dharmacharinim. See, we can take the whole thing. We can take the next line at least. Shamanam dharma nipunam avigacheti raghava. Okay, let's try up to that maybe. So, tam nihatya mahabahur dadaha sargatascha saha sachasya kathayamasa shavarim dharmacharinim shamanam dharma nipunam abhigacheti raghava. Padacheda?
Tam
Correct?
nihatya.
Same as in Gita, right? Nihatya dhatu rashtra, nihatya, exact same form, nihatya. Okay, again in gerund form, so we have two, karta doing two actions. Okay, nihatya.
Mahabahuhu
Mahabahu.
dadaha
Dadaha.
swaha
Compound.
Swargata has a compound.
Swargata is a compound. So,
Swargata.
where is coming, in which sutram comes the word?
Swaradi nipatam avyayam.
Very good. Swaradi nipatam avyayam. So, swar is an avyayam, means swarga. So, swargam gataha, swarga gataha. So, swar is swarga, someone who had gone to heaven. Swargataha. Okay.
Cha saha.
You're right. Swar is a separate avyayam, but it has to be in the compound here.
Compound.
So, actually, does it have to be a compound? What do you think? Because now this swar is an avyayam. It can
Is
be
it
out.
like a gati samasa or something?
No, not good. Dvitiya tatpurusha. Dvitiya tatpurusha. Dvitiya tatpurusha. You know, so it can be that, or can we keep it outside also? I think that vanam gataha. So Ramaha.
Yeah, I think it can be kept outside.
Can be kept
Because it's
outside.
anyway avyaya.
Because it's an avyaya, and the dhatu gam, if we take the nishtha kta pratyay, because it's gati arthe, can become kartari. Ramaha vanam gataha. Simple sentence, right? So rakshasaha sar gataha. It's fine. So then we leave it outside only. We don't have to make compound. Leave it outside. It's a good point. So swar is equals swargam, and because swar is an avyaya, it has no vibhakti on it, but it has to be dvitiya in the context because of this. Gataha is object, is the karma of gataha. It's coming with gataha. So swar gataha. Okay, cha, saha.
Saha.
Correct.
Cha asya
Asya,
kathayamasa
pathayamasa,
shabarim dharmacharinim
dharmacharinim,
shramanam
shamanam,
dharma nipunam
dharmanipunam.
abhigacha
Very good. Abhigacha.
iti raghava.
You know, the iti ends the quotation. Where does the quotation begin?
Shabarim dharmacharinim shramanam dharma nipunam abhigacha.
Very good, very good. So the iti, the quotation starts from Shavarim dharmacharinim shamanam dharma nipunam abhigacha. Because you see the kathayamasa is there, that's the big hint over there. He said to him the following kathayamasa, and then da 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 da, and then comes the iti. So iti ends the quotation begins from that Shabarim. Okay, and he abhigacheti raghava. So what's the problem here? Small problem. Normally the iti ends the quotation. Is there something outside?
Yeah, Raghava is outside the
quotation. The one case. See, this is the one case. I mean, it's obvious that the iti normally ends the quotation, but this Raghava should be inside the quotation. Here Raghava. So this is one of the rare cases. Not so. It may be like 2% of the cases this happens like that. When it's so obvious, then sometimes they keep that some person outside. So Raghava should be inside the iti. Abhigacha Raghaveti. But maybe because the meter or something he has done that. So this is, you have to watch out. Once in a while this happens. Not very often, but this happens. Okay. So let's start the vibhakti now. So tam.
Tam is dvitiya ekavachanam.
Qualifying whom? This is a pronoun.
Kabandham rakshasam.
Rakshasam kabandham. Correct. Correct. And object of whom? Karma of what?
Nihatya.
Nihatya. Tam nihatyam kabandham nihatya. Nihatya is lyap pratyaya, same as in Gita. What's happened here is that the twa became ya and they got tuk agamaha. Or tuk agamaha. So the sutram is 6438. Valyapi sutram is that. Niyatya dhatarashtra. It's a complicated sutram. Basically the same 6 dhatus which we saw in the 6437. All those same dhatus, anudhatu upadesha, manasitanothyadinam, all of those, they come into valyapi. They lose the nasal optionally, lyapi. And there's a vyavasthita vibhasha. Vyavasthita is too much for this class, I'm just mentioning it anyway in case you want to go in details. But the vyavasthita vibhasha means that vibhasha is not optional everywhere. It has some order to it. Within the optionality, there's an order to it. And the order is that the nakaranta, like dhatu han, they take nitya lopaha. So because nihatya will be only one form. Dhatus like gam will take vaikalpika lopaha. You can agamya, agatya. But nihatya only one form nihatya, not two forms. But agamya, agatya. If you read the kashika on that in the commentary, you will see on the 6438, there is what is called as vyavasthita vibhasha. Within the vibhasha, within the option, there is a vyavastha. Means that there is some order to the vibhasha. Not everything is optional everywhere. The vyavastha is there. Of course, this is only a vyakhyanam from that we know. They will not be the form nihanya. So the Panini says valyapi. So that means you can just get a second form nihanya. Should be possible. But this vyakhyanam says no. Only one form nihatya. So if it is ending in makara, then you can get that. Agamya, agatya. So that is the suttam. I'll just quickly show you. You can read up if you want the details on that because it's not Vyakaranam class, so not go into too much detail. But interesting, the same form is in Gita, and these nakarantas will take the nitya lopa. So next sutram, Valyapi 6438. Okay. All right. So continuing with that one. Oh, I lost that. Okay. Then
Mahabahu.
Mahabahu is this qualifying.
Prathama ekavachanam. Ramaha.
So mahantau bahu yasya saha. Again, it's a adjective, but it's ending in a noun. So bahu is a noun. You want to make an adjective out of it. And maha, this is going to be another thing here that mahat becomes maha. That mahat becomes maha when you have samajikaranam. Samajikaranam. So it says when you say mahatma, when you say mahat seva, mahatam seva, mahat seva, service of the great. It will not become mahaseva. So mahaseva will be great service. Mahat seva can be service of the great. So then we know, so when you see the maha like that, it must be samajikaranam with the bahu. So mahantau bahu yastasaha. Armstrong, like in English, Armstrong. Only thing that there the strong was later. In English it comes strong armed. So mahabahu. Okay, dadaha, like this lit lakara, right? So we are saying
Dadaha lit lakara.
Same like we saw before, right? What is vilalapa, like vilalapa. Like lalapa, vilalapa, same dadaha, same thing. Dhatu is da, do the upada vriddhi, all the same steps. And only thing haladi shesha. Dhatu da. Look in the abhyasaha, only the first, the hal is remains only if it's the first member. So dhatu da. Hakara was not the first member, it dropped out, only the in abhyasa. Only thing ending pratyaya is null, which we saw in the lit lakara, the tip becomes null. And the vriddhi or the upadha takes place, dadaha. Okay, and who's the karta of that? The mahabahu is the karta, ramaha.
Mahabahu.
And the object of that is, whose object?
Rakshasam.
Tam, same. The tam is doing double
tam.
duty. Tam nihatya dadaha. The tam is the object of the nihatya and dadaha both. Okay, now swar we talked about it as an avyayam, in this case swargam. And gataha is qualifying whom?
Rakshasaha. Saha.
Rakshasaha. So it says saha swargataha. So saha. And he went to heaven. So Ramaha killed him and cremated him. And then he saha kabandha rakshasaha swargataha went to him. Cha. And the cha is that. Okay. And so again the same thing kabandha cha avyahan asya. Asya is interesting usage here. Asya is of course shashti ekvachan, right? Qualifying whom?
It's I think Ramasya.
Ramasya. Where is the sambandha for this but?
I think instead of using Dvitiya, they have used Shashti.
Not Dvitiya.
Ramaya, Chaturthi.
Chaturthi. Cha asyai. Because this is Dvikarmaka dhatu. Dhatu Guru Dvikarmaka. I said this to him. So I said this, that this is the Pradhana Karma. That has to go in Dvitiya. that Shabarim Dharmacharinim Shamanam Dharminupanam Abhigaccha Raghava. That's that whole thing said iti. That's the pradhana karma of Kathayamasa. He said this to him. So in fact, when the comment says Asya equals Asyai, Asmai, Asmai, Pullinga. Asya, what's another way out? You can supply something. Asya Samaksham. In front of him, he said. But that's probably not very good. I think that this is Shashti, because Pani says Shashti Sheshe, So Sheshe means in the remaining meaning Shashti can be used. So Shesha means the Shashti is a very flexible Vyakti, very flexible. Be very careful. The Shashti can be used, even as a karma also can be used. So when the Vivaksha is Shesha, so Shesha Vivakshayam. When the user wants to just use general Vivakti, generally wants to use. He doesn't want to be specific about the Vivakti. Then he can use Shashti anytime. Of course, not for the Karta, but for the Karma, for the Karma, all Shashti can be used. So this is like the Chaturthya Shashti. So Asya equals Asmai. So unto him, he said. Now Kathayamas, I think we saw last time, Anuprayoga lit. We did in detail in last couple of classes. So Dhatu is Katha. It becomes and this is Anuprayoga lit. You see that thing in Gita, you have it, Darshayamasa, Ashvasayamasa. What happens is that for these derived dhatus, these dhatus which have pratyaya in them, derived or anekash dhatus, they will take only Anuprayoga lit. Means they will not take Dvitva, they will not go through duplication on those steps. Like we have here, Dadaha is Dvitva lit duplication. This will not do that. Because when you have a derived dhatu, derived because of what? Because this has taken nich, but is a causative, because this Katha dhatu, Katha, is in the Churadi Gana. So it takes the nich pratyaha swarthe. So when the nich pratyaya comes, it becomes a, what's called, Panini called the Sanajanta Dhatavaha. It's not a Shuddha dhatu. It has taken, the dhatu has taken a pratyaya on it, and then it's going to become a derived dhatu. What's called sadhita dhatu. So now sadhita means derived. So becomes, then after that, you cannot take this wali. It has to take anuprayoga lit only. Then pratyaya am comes. And after the am, you can use kru, bhu, or as with its own lit over there. So that asa is actually lit form of dhatu, as. Let us, because same, we look at the final ending though, it's same over here. In dadaha, ending is null in the akaraha. Here also asa is ending in as. So that part is the same. Because the as became asa. So that is the anuprayoga part of it. One more small complication that normally dhatu as does not have any forms beyond the lat, lot, lung, vidili. But this is the only case where dhatu as will have a lit form. Because Panini says you can use as, bhu, or kru in anuprayoga. So that has to mean it has to take lit lakara. You cannot use anuprayoga unless it takes lit lakara. So it will not, because as changes to bhu. Otherwise, as now it changes to bhu. But in this anuprayoga lit, the as will take this lit lakara also. Becomes asa. So the katha becomes with the niche becomes kathi. Pratyaya am comes. The e becomes I, becomes kathayam. That's a separate padam actually. The kathayam is separate padam. And then asa. Because when the am comes there, it has to come with anuprayoga. So then if it goes to kruncha anuprayajate, kruncha anuprayajate liti. So that has to come with that. So the kathayama. And most of the time in Gita, everywhere, it's only these causative forms or the 10th gana dhatu forms. Even though any of the derived dhatus can take it, most of the time in usage, it will only, if you see this amasa or ambabhuva or anchakara, it's mostly going to be a causative form or the 10th gana form. The kathayamasa means he narrated to him, narrated. Now open the brackets now. Open the quotation. So shabarim is what?
Shabarim is dvitiya ekavachanam of Shabari.
What question am I going to ask you? What question am I going to ask you? When you say dvitiya, what am I going to ask you? Dvitiya cannot stand on its own. It has to be karma.
Yeah, the verb abhigacha.
Abhigacha. Dvitiya means you should see my face in front. What is the karma of what? It has no standing on its own. It has to go into something, So shabarim, abhigacha. So when you do that, it helps you put the sentence structure very quickly in your mind, See, dvitiya means connected with that verb, So shabarim, abhigacha. Now this is adjective, dharmacharini. What kind of compound is that?
Dharmacharani is, I think, upapada samasa.
Very good, upapada samasa. So like, so dharma and dhatu, char, pratyaya is nimi, tachilye.
Tachilye.
So dharmam charati tachilyena dharmacharini. The pratyaya is in over the in and takes the dharmacharin, the brahmachari, you know. So I call that you have the words brahmachari. So dharmam charati tachilyena. So that does the vruddhi also, the middle akara of dhatu become char, dharmacharin, and then we get the long e because it's feminine. What's the term for that, Kartik?
It is
Ravi Sutram, Kalpesh Sutram,
Tidhani.
4115.
not 15, before that. Rinnebhyonip. So dharmacharin, right? So nakaranta. Rinnebhyonip. 415, I think. 415. Anything, any nakara. The simple rule is that if you have a project ending in nakara, it takes the neep, like yogini, you know. So like yogini, charini. So rinnebhyonip. So dharmacharinim. Okay, qualifying shabarim. And then shamanam. What is this?
It is that Nandi Grahi Pachadibhyo Yunin.
Very good. Actually, here in the commentary it says Kartri Lyut, he says, which is amazing, you know. That's what I mean. The commentaries are very good, and with all due respect to them, I shouldn't say no. But sometimes, even in great commentary, you have find small things. Because what's the problem with that? Say Lyut.
Lyut is only Bhava Karma.
No, even if you accept, you know what happens in Lyut. I know we're out of time right now, so excuse me. But what is happening, Kartik, is that the Lyut, there is a sutram which says that there's a bahulam with that also. Bahulam. Krityaluto bahulam. So that Lyut and Kritya can come bahulam. So you can let's see, even if you accept that, you know. So it will be right here. So it will be here, this one. This is a sutram which is very used as a loophole for all pratyas. The sutram says that this potential participle kritya, which is the potential participle, and the Lyut is used bahulam. Bahulam means normally you have bhave, napunsake bhave, or karnadikarna yoscha. But he's saying kartari Lyut. This commentary is saying kartari Lyut. Okay, we accept the kartari Lyut. We can take it the bahulam. We can accept that also. But then what's the problem? You should take the ni pratyaya in feminine, shouldn't it? Tidhani Sutram, 4115. So that's the problem, is that even though, and we don't even need it, because as you said, we can do the Pachadi, what's it?
Nandyadi.
Nandyadi, we can do, because the 4115 will make it the Shamani, it will make it Shamani. So anyway, the commentator has said that it doesn't make too much sense to me. So, in fact, the second time this has happened to us, right, Kartik? Because one time he told about the dhatu, Vru, he threw us off on that one, right?
Yeah, Vru, yeah.
Yeah, Vru, he made it, because that became Varayama, so that also was a problem. And this one, I'm saying these commentators are very, very knowledgeable, and they're very good, but once in a while, so that's, you should know Vyakaranam yourself, you know. So you can check these commentaries, and of course use them, but also you can also be critical once in a while. I think this one doesn't make sense to me. And it could be a typo on this, could be Be Kartri Lyu, but the book I have is a good book. Kartri Lyut, it says. Anyway, so Lyut, first of all, will not be Kartari. Even if you take it Bahulam, you'll still take the Pratyaya Neep in the feminine. I think what Kartik is saying makes more sense to me. That you have to take it in the Gana, the Nandyadi Gana, Nandanaha, so one who's so Ramana, Madhusudanaha. So Shramya Titi Shamana, and make it feminine. So Sutram I'm looking at is this one. Nandi Grahi Pachadibhyo Luninyachaha. So Nandi will take the Lyu Pratyaya. So Shamana, I think has to be that one. This is 31134. I'll put over here. I know. Sorry, going a little late today. But Shra Ma Na is 31130. Pratyaya is Lyu. So is equal to really Dhatu Shram. Dhatu Shram plus Lyu. Lyu becomes Ana by so Pratyaya is Lyu. Yuranako, Lyu. This is 31134, and that will become Ana by 711. 134 equals Ana by 711. Ana by 711. Yeah, these are technical terms. You know, if you don't understand the basic jargon, and if you saying Lyu, what in the world is Lyu? I'm saying Ana, what is Lyu? Because 711 makes the Lyu into Ana, Yuranako. And then you add the Pratyaya Tap on top, make it feminine, make it Tap. Ajadyata Shtap. 414. Ajadyata Shtap. That's what's happening. So Shamana. Shramana. Of course, finally Natvam by the usual rules at Kuppam. Okay, so that we'll get that, and then what is left now? Shramanam Abhigaccheti Raghava. Okay, Abhigaccha. What form is that?
Abhigaccha is lot.
Lotkara. So what sutram quickly? In what
Ser here picture and ato he.
Ato Gacha, like Patha Gacha. So so it is a very common form. It is lot lakara in Purusha Padam, Madhyam Purusha Ekvachanam. The pratyaya he drops away. You can only the Angam ends in short or the he drops away. Abhigaccha means you go approach. Dharma Nipunam. What kind of compound is that? Last one for today.
Dharma Nipuna, is it Saptami?
Very good. Dharme Nipunam. Dharme Nipunam, who was skilled in the practice of Dharma. And again, the iti we said should come after Raghava. Here Raghava. Okay, here Raghava. This is what he said to him. Let's see. Okay, let's get our Anuvadakara. Can you unmute Varnamanji, please?
Yeah, I have admitted.
Ready?
Ready, ji.
Okay. Having made short work.
Tam's next word after tam, I forgot. Nihatya.
Nihatya. Having made short work, Nihatya. Of him.
Tam.
The mighty armed prince.
Mahabahu.
The prince is understood. Cremated him.
Dadaha.
Dadaha tam. The same tam again. Dadaha tam. Double T. And there's a cha is there.
Yeah.
Sargataschataha. The demon.
Saha.
Into bracket regained his original form, and that's from the commentary. Ascended.
Gata.
Gataha. Arudha means ascended to heaven.
Swarga.
Swar. Only swar is an avya, swar. It means swar, but the avya is swar. Like I think Kartikeya Sutra means Swaradi Nipatam Avyam. The swar is an avyaya, means swarga. Okay, ne.
Is it cha again, the second sentence?
Again the second cha. This is the second cha, that is the ne, cha. Okay. While rising, this is in commentary. While rising to him is in the commentary. He.
Sir.
Saha. Said.
Katayamasa.
To Sri Rama.
Raghava.
No. That
is that's within the quotes.
That will be here Raghava. Asya means Asmai. To Sri Rama. Seek.
Abhigaccha.
O Rama.
Raghava. Shabarim. The
pious hermitess.
Dharmacharinim. Shramana.
Next one is who is well versed in the principle of righteousness.
Nipunam is well versed. So
Dharma Nipunam is well versed. Principles of righteousness.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. The only thing they have is a pious hermitess. Which could be which?
Shramanam could be pious.
No, that's the hermitess.
Oh, okay.
See, that's only two choices. Because Shramanam is one who labors, One who labors. Hermit, she just tapas.
Okay.
She labors. And then the pious is Dharmacharini.
Okay.
Because piety is Dharma, right? Dharmacharini. Dharmacharini is pious. Hermitess is Shramanam. And well-versed is Nipuna. And the principles of righteousness is Dharma Nipuna. Okay. So next time we'll start with this. I'm sorry for being late. Thank you, everybody. And we'll do the Mangalacharam. I'll stay back for questions. Ramo Rajamanistada Vijayate Ramam Rameshcham Bhaje Ramena Vihata Nishachada Chamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Raman Nasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittale Sada Bhotame Bho Ramamamudhara Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattuliyam Ramanama Varanane Sri Ramanama Varanana Om Namati. Kailashi, okay?